All right, we are back here at APT in Mawson Lakes in South Australia. I got Damiano still with me here in the booth. Welcome, Damo.
Great to be back here, Graham. Apologies for the tech delays, but we are back and not too much of the action has been missed. We have lost 𝗏𝗏, unfortunately, in 9th place during this time, but for those who have been watching and getting updates on Fred has found a double and a little bit since the stream has subsided. Reno now being our shortest stack. So it looks like that Reno has doubled Fred up during this period.
Yeah, it does look like that.
But we have 8 players remaining as our first hand back from stream. I've only missed something like 22 hands because of the break as well. So not too many hands, but enough to see a bust out. And Ross, the boss, opening it up here to 120 with the Queen 10 suited. And Parabu off one of the biggest stacks around, still is around the chip lead. Richard Manning actually now having the chip lead on this FT.
It does look like Ross has lost a few chips after doubling right before the break. Yeah,
it looks like it. I think he got to about a mil, could have been a couple of laps, paid a couple of lines as well. So here's what it is Gene here having to think about it. And probably at 2 bottom of the range that he probably just has to fold 4-3-0.
100%. All right, we are going to a flop heads up here.
Suited
Parabu and Ross.
Yeah, suited connector versus the 2 suited overcards. That's a pretty good flop for the 7-6 suited without getting there. Has the open ender now.
We are still flipping here, 54-46. As close as you can be with high card versus high card. Yeah,
Ross is going to find a C-bet here, and I don't think Parabu is going to go anywhere. Generally in these pots, when out of position, prefer to check. But Ross does find bet, probably knowing that we're going to get overfolds here from any board that's disconnected. Parabu does defend though, however.
He has called, has he, or is he?
Oh, I thought it was a call, but maybe it's a raise. Nearly did point back to Ross. It might have been a raise.
I don't mind this little semi-bluff here. It puts those hands like the Queen High and King High into a tough spot and can just take it down, which it looks like he might have. Oh no, he's just counting out how much the bet was. Oh no, he did just call, maybe. Yeah, I have seen the turn card of a Jack of Spades. Ross now leads for 165, so I don't think there was a raise there. No, there wasn't a raise on the flop, it was just a bet call.
I think if you're Parabu now, you're probably in position going to call once more here, but you're going to be pretty uncomfortable about it. He does find call. At least he knows if he does not get there on the river, he will fold. It'd be interesting to see if a 7 or a 6 falls. Instead, it's just a nuts versus nuts. Ross the boss with the.
Oh no.
Ross the boss gets the gin card, and this is the problem.
That's disaster for Parabu here.
This is the problem for Parabu when you have these sort of suited connectors here. Doesn't make the nuts, makes the second nuts, and is unfortunately going to be doubling up Ross a second time now that Ross has made a straight on this FT and going to get a full double. Ross will obviously tank and then jam. And Parabu is going to snap call and see the bad news, you would imagine.
Ooh, looked like it went all in.
And snap call, and there we go.
Ross with another double up to 1.7 million chips now, Ross.
And Parabu, who was our once chip leader to start the day, has unfortunately found the slippery slope down the pecking order here.
You see our chip counts here. Richard out in front of 1.8 million, and Parabu is down at 13 big blinds at 755. Reno out short stack with 8.2 big blinds as well.
Yeah, a few stacks over 1 million as well. Fred, good fight back from Fred, proving why yet again. A lot of people calling him out in the chat as their prediction. Their prediction in Ross the Boss climbing back up the chip lead, the chip board, I should say.
Just as we get onto that next hand, these are our payouts remaining as well. 16.5 up top, with the next out getting 2,100 in this APT Mid-Stakes Championship.
Yeah, great value in this tournament, getting up to about 88,000 in prize pool. Was a 75 guaranteed, absolutely got smashed. And a big payday for a $300, $350, 300?
300, I think it was.
Yeah, $300 tournament for one of these lucky players here at our final table.
First of all, why would you shove him there? All right? And how can I say I'm going to get shot?
Anyway, you get paid there if it's known.
If you are watching in the chat, thank you for coming back after our short technical difficulties. Give us your predictions on who is going to win this final table. 8 remain. We know some predictions came in earlier for Fred, Ross the Boss, Jean. We can see who else people are following along with at home. Parabu is now one of our medium stacks and does find an open to 150 with 6s. Fred's going to find 5s here. Be interesting to see how Fred tackles this one with a smaller pair. And we'll just fold, which I think is the correct move considering. And oh, Jean. Here we go. 6s, kings. This is going to go free bet. I think Parabu is not going to love life in a second. He's going to be put in straight versus straight, and then he's going to put in another blender. Because I don't think Jean's going to do anything else but raise here. No, he just flats. Interesting. Wow.
A couple times now he's just limped those kings.
Yeah, we've seen Reno do it earlier, etc. as well. Ace 9, ace. Does make it less likely there's an ace X.
There we are on your screen.
There we
Hello,
go.
Damo.
Hello, Graham. Does go check bet, and Jean is not going to feel comfortable, but does have to call here, considering there's 2 aces on board. The board does block ace X. I think this is where overflatting kings isn't the greatest. I think before, when Fred flatted kings, the right situation, you had the then chip leader on your left, who should pressure you. Next to Jean is just Reno in the big blind, right? So he's quite short. You got a hand that if Reno was the jam and you're pot committed, you're obviously snapping and loving life. So I think this is one way you should have free bet. Instead, not the case. And now you're left in this murky position, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At the times that you want to probably trap kings and NFTs where you still got the chip leader behind you to act, where they can really try and be aggressive and put you in ICM, the ICM cage. But obviously you have the goods. Protects that flatting range a little bit.
He's picking up some chips here.
I think Jean's just recognising there's not much ace X, but I also think he's just counting out a chip stack. When I say there's not much ace X, it's because the board blocks it. Obviously, Parabu can open some ace X hands still.
He does make the call here for 100,000. That we're off to a turn card.
It'd be interesting to see what Parabu decides to do here on a blank. Instead, it's just it's
turn card.
just a king.
How much rope are you going to give here to Parabu? Just check it over to him.
Yeah, this is just a clear check, and you just pray he has ace X. I think Parabu's quickly Snapchat back.
Almost hit that 3-side on the end as well, don't
I was going to say there was a 3-sider, but it was a spade, which means it was dead to a 6. 3 pips, obviously being a 6, 7, or an 8. I think if you're Jean now, you're probably going to have to lead small on this river just to try and get a call.
Well, do you like the bigger sizing here to target that ace X?
I think all the ace X that Parabu would have had would have bet turn, so I think we eliminate a lot of ace X when he doesn't bet turn.
Can see the ace X checking back turn though as well, trying to keep those bluffs in, like in case he decides to then lead river.
Yeah.
If he's got like a king X, king queen, king jack. Remember, he did just flat from the small blind. He did not 3-bet.
Correct. Jean does goes a bit the smaller sizing of 95k.
Yep. 95 into 620.
It's a nice probing size. Now if you're Parabu, you're feeling a little bit sick because you're getting such a good price, but you probably know you beat. And he makes a very disciplined lay down.
Leaving himself with about 8 big blinds, 8.5 bigs.
I think if you're Reno, you're really happy with that outcome. because it moves someone closer to yourself.
How much is ICM a factor, like with 8 left here? Page jump's not being massive at the moment.
It's always some sort of consideration. Don't know how often players are thinking about it, but it is some sort of a factor. It's 1-7 to 2-1, and then 2-1 to 2-7. It is 2 buy-ins, which is quite sizable when you think about it in that regard.
That is correct, yes.
So I think they should be thinking about it a little bit here. Good to have you in the chat, Wildcard. Nice to have you back after our tech delays.
Ross coming in with a raise here, well, it looks at it.
Yeah, King
with
10.
The King 10, +1.
Perfectly fine. Ross does like applying the pressure when he has got chips on an FT. He may not have the chip lead just yet. Richard Manning still has it just. But, you know, up there in the chip counts, probably recognises he will be mostly the aggressor on this final table. And this is how Ross does it. Just creates that pressure, foot to the throttle, and really fight for those pots and those chips. Reno here, our short stack. Going to need a hand. 7-6 suited isn't going to be the one. Would have loved that in the big blind. Richard Manning, though.
Picking up jacks in the big. Big stack versus big stack.
Interesting to see how he navigates jacks. Be interesting to see if he free bets or flats. Could do either.
I like a 3-bet here to put the pressure back on him to show that you are going to be playing back at times, so then you can balance when you're raising with like the 10 jack suiteds and the jack queen suiteds as well.
Yeah, for sure. Also knowing, you know, there's some GTO world in ICM that were meant to flat a lot of jacks and that sort of stuff and keep the pot relatively small when it's chip lead versus chip lead, especially with a couple of really short stacks. Don't want to incentivize increasing the pot and really inflating it and then putting yourself in murky waters on future streets, especially out of position. But I think look, any option but fold, I think is perfectly okay right now, depending on what road you want to take. Me knowing Ross the Boss, don't know how well Richard Manning knows Ross the Boss, but knowing what Ross the player type is like, I'd probably lean free bet still.
He does. He shoves 1.8 million.
Whoa, there you go.
Ross quickly gets rid of that.
Okay, interesting choice as we see a couple of giggles from the table. Yeah, look, it was, what, 30 bigs? 27 bigs effective. As we see the room is filling up, there is the PLO in the back corner. And we do have the Matchroom 33,
yep.
Which is on at the moment as well. Yeah, very big jam. I think when you decide to jam, there's a little bit of a problem because Ross from opening UTG can still have queens, kings, aces, right?
Yeah.
And if you jam there and get snapped off and you're left with 4 big blinds,
yeah,
it's a bit of ICM suicide. So I think if we're choosing the free bet, we do go to a smaller size. Anyway, Parabu, we're onto a new hand, so it doesn't matter. Parabu is going to rip in ace, king here
8 bigs.
for his 8 big blinds. Richard Manning with 10-4. Rankin with the jack 8-0 probably would just fold. And does so. A little bit of a chip hip here for Parabu. Getting back towards that 10 big blind mark.
Yep, Reno needs to find a spot and find it quick.
Doesn't. King Queen O for Ethan UTG. has been very snug this final table. I also think he really hasn't had a hand outside of the ace-king. And he did have aces, I think, just as the stream cut off before the technical delay as well.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I might have missed that, to be honest. I'll let the a7 go from the hijack.
Yeah, Gene recognising he is opening up into the chip leader who's in the dealer position, and obviously then Ross the boss who's in the big blind and can put him in a position of hurt, especially Reno being so short.
Yeah. He just gets squeezed out of it so often, can't he?
Yeah, correct. And he really can't go with anything that's unless top of the range. And look, when you know an opponent in the small blind's going to wake up aces, it also makes it pretty good. Could be some fireworks though. It's interesting to see how Rankin plays it out the small blind if he decides to play limp and set the trap or go 3x. Or it looks like we're going to go with that 3x sizing, I think. And unfortunately there for Rankin, he's not getting any action with the aces.
This close.
Top three, very even in chips. And saying that, if we're saying that they were all even, Fred's not that far behind either. So we've got a 4-horse race up the top.
I had no
Yeah, just 33 big blinds to our chip leader.
It is
So
getting,
not relatively deep,
No.
however, but anything can happen.
it is getting quite shallow, but you do see that in these 300. You know, especially with there's so much play early on and great structure. Everyone that played at day one had a lot of time to build a stack. Even Max Late Registering, you got 2 levels in just after with 15 bigs, which is beautiful. But the nature of the beast is that when you do get to these big player, multiple day final tables at this sort of price point, it does get quite turbo-y. But that's what makes some of these study players maybe have a little bit more of an advantage of knowing how to maneuver off those shorter stacks where maybe someone a little bit inexperienced may make a mistake or two.
I don't think we can fault the structure though either for a $300 entry. There's been so much play in this event.
Correct, and I think that's the brilliance of it, is that the stacks are now getting shallow now, and we're 8-handed on a final table,
Yeah.
which sometimes you find it gets shallower well earlier, so very well done.
Yeah, Rankin here is a natural 9 on
Interesting
the
to
button.
See if he opens here on the button with Ross the Boss in the small blind. He probably could open knowing that Ethan's been quite tight, and probably will pick on that big blind a little bit more. Rankin's definitely a player that, when you play against him, feels like he's always in the natural flow of the game and picking his spots, and you know, definitely understands the game from his results at that sort of flow level. Does open up to 165, so just over. I think, unfortunately, Ross the Boss is probably going to find free bet here at the small blind.
Yeah. The Queen 10-0 flat, you think, and the Queen 10 suited, you pick as your 3 bets?
I think the 3 bets both, knowing Ross. Just probably picks up that he knows that Rankin is probably opening wider, knowing that Ethan's playing a lot tighter, trying to steal. So it'll be interesting to see how Ross navigates here, but I would imagine we're seeing a 3 bet. It doesn't have to go overly big here, being it's a final table.
And he does shove here.
Wow. Great find here from Ross the Boss. And there we go.
He's going to get it through.
Yeah, Ross just applying max pressure was one of the options. Does find it. Yeah.
Same hand as last hand.
Oh,
Jack deuce.
he shot a 4.
And good find from Ross. Definitely know he leans towards more open jamming. I think 4.5x is what we would have seen from some other players, but Ross finding jam and putting on the max pressure, which I think is perfectly fine as well. I think the worst out of the options would have been folding or flatting, so good find from Ross. And I think I really like that Rankin's recognised that Ethan is quite short and that he's trying to tackle, you know, trying to tackle that tighter big blind and just pick up those chips that way. Reno finding a fold here with deuces.
Yeah, off what, 4 big blinds, I think it is?
Yeah, I think we're at that stage where he probably could have took it. I understand why he hasn't, because he knows he has no fold equity and he's probably just getting called and flipping. But I also think when you get down to that 4 big blind range, any pair here when you're now under the gun,
Yeah.
you're unlikely to get a better hand here.
No, for sure.
And he's probably going to have to take whatever this hand is, or forced to be taking the big blind hand. So I probably would have ran deuces, but hopefully for Reno's sake, he does pick up a hand.
Yeah, talking about Ethan as well, he has been very tight on his final table. The VP only 5%.
Yeah, correct.
Just waiting for that spot.
As you can see, Reno had 2 more hands, which makes deuces maybe a slightly better fold, but still probably would have took it.
Yep. Gene here under the gun with ace-jack.
Very hard spot here for Gene. He knows that he has a chip leader and Manning to his left. He knows he has 𝗏𝗏 in the cutoff that can definitely play back at him. He's got Fred in the big blind that knows what he's doing as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he just mucks the ace-jacko here, to be honest.
Yeah, he does. Well, 15 bigs, it's nice to let it go.
Yeah, especially with Reno now. And Reno's going to take ace-deuce. Oh,
No,
no.
he lets it go for 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Probably thinks he has no fold equity and he may as well wait and see the extra hand. So I think once you fold deuces, ace-deuce is not going in.
Richard here with king-jack +2 with the chip lead. Decides to let it go as well. Thought we might have seen a raise there from Richard.
I think as the chip leader, definitely viable. Can put pressure, especially with Reno being quite short. I think this allows 𝗏𝗏 to basically open up anything, but he has opened. He has folded, sorry. We have a limp from Parabu. The 6-deuce-0 here from Fred. Actually very interesting to see what Fred decides to do here. These trashier hands that don't have much equity going post-flop do like to slide in as your free bet bluff, as your squeeze bluffs out the big blind. So it'd be interesting to see if he finds the 3.2x,
Yeah.
which he does. Great play here from Fred. No, this doesn't look like much to most people, but 6-deuce-0 does so poorly post. So
Can you open rip 9 bigs out of Jack 8 as well from the small blind?
now, I would say yes, and especially from chip EV. And would you do it in game? Maybe. But again, because there's 2 buy-ins now from 8th to 7th, and you know Reno's likely all in within the next 2 hands, probably just going to be overfolding. It's a great spot for Fred. Has a very poor hand that doesn't play well, but does well when you build your bluff range out the big blind. You want to throw in those trash air hands at your 3.2x, so then you can obviously squeeze versus the limp with your stronger stuff. But on top of that as well, recognizing the ICM and that Parabu, unless he's limp trapping, really cannot call when he 3.2x. He can't call off like 11. It's either jam or fold. So great work there from Fred, I think, in a very well recognized spot. Reno does find the hand finally to put it all in.
Another gun here with queen 10.
Yeah, he was very patient. Now picked up what is essentially a premium for him off 4 bigs.
He's getting through quite a few players here.
And it is the Gene who does have ace-3 and will call. We're going to be off to the races here. He can't really fold this one. He's not going to be thrilled, but there's not much he can do.
Only 3 big blinds to call. He does have the big blind out already.
Yeah.
He's asking for a count and assuming he will be putting this in straight away.
Yeah.
As he finds out how much.
Exactly. Always worth double-checking because you never know. You might have miscounted or it looks, you know, shorter than what it is. And the next minute was 6 bigs and you're like, oh, could have folded.
He
but
has called here.
yeah, this one's going to be a slam dunker. We're going to be off to the races. Reno, not for the first time today, it has been all in. For those that don't know the story, he was kings in against aces and he did not win. That is a 10 in the window. Jack on the turn. 4 on the river. Reno does find the double. And Yellow again with a very quick deal.
Today, baby.
Yeah, ripping that band-aid off.
Come on.
Does love it, and Yellow. I don't mind that style, just bang, bang, bang. Usually on streams you would say that the dealers love to really slow it and build the suspense. I think we had Pedro the other night in the Goliath, and we also had someone else in the Goliath as well. I'm trying to think that was on the final table with Pedro that they were interchanging. And they were definitely a fan of the very slow turn, slow river. But Aniello love ripping the band-aid off. Great dealing. Good to see. Shout out to your dealers. Without them, we don't get a series or a game.
That's it.
And they've been fantastic here, by the way, at
They
APT.
have. Our dealers and our tournament directors and all our staff here at APT. You've got the people on the registration desk taking your buy-ins, giving you your tickets, giving you your seat. Even people like the bump crew.
Oh, yeah.
You turn up to a series and everything's set up, ready to go for you. You don't notice what goes on for days and weeks prior to organise that. Organising the transportation up from Melbourne.
Yep.
Organising people here on the day to set everything up.
Definitely.
Organising people at the end of the series to pack everything up.
Yep.
So a big shout out to our bump crew as well.
Ethan waking up with a hand here. Ace-King suited. I think his 𝗲𝗶𝗹 is about to raise finally. He hasn't had too many cards as well, to be fair to Ethan. But he does also, has been a bit on the tighter side too. But I think this one's just going to go all in the middle here from Ethan. And good luck. Was someone's prediction in the chat in the earlier part before our technical difficulties, so...
It's a bit hard to get into hands as well, though, when you got Ross with 22%. And
yeah.
You've got probably 25% either side of you.
Oh, Reno, unfortunately, he's just doubled, and now he's going to get it in the ace-4 versus ace-king.
He's not at risk, though, Reno.
No, he's not. He's not going to love it. I understand why he's called here, because Ethan has been is jamming 7 bigs. No, he's yeah, 7 bigs.
Seven bigs for Ethan, yep.
Yeah, and I understand Ross... oh, wow.
King on the turn does give him 2 outs. That is not one of them, and we are going to lose Ethan here in 8th spot. Reno picking up some additional chips to his stack as well now.
Yep, staying in the theme of the day. Reno spinning from a short stack and then finding a essential double here with the worst of it. He did get freezing against 9s on the bubble when he did find a 3 of the final table.
Final table bubble, yes.
Yep. And he's done so here again. Saying that this is a fine call, 7 bigs. Ethan should be in theory jamming a lot worse than ace-king, obviously.
Yep.
I will say, if you're in flow of the game and you're understanding that the opponent hasn't really played too many hands, maybe we start folding the bottom of the range, but
yep.
I think ace-4 suited if 7 bigs is perfectly still okay in theory. And look, shout out to Reno, very well done. He's found a double and now has found, I think, the elimination as they're just confirming counts.
Yeah, with the counts we have, Ethan will be eliminated. There you go, he is eliminated in 8th place for 2100. This is goodbyes, good games to everyone else.
Very well played and a great score for a $300 buy-in there for Ethan, 2100. And always a nice guy on the table as well, so good to see him go deep in one of the major events here at APT.
Yep. And with that double up, Reno is looking for his 2nd trophy this week.
Back to 1.4 million for Reno. The roller coaster continues.
Nice. Good luck.
He's being supported by his brother, who's on the rail there, Giuseppe. Nice of him to come on down and support his brother Reno. They did take down a tag team event, those two, recently as well, by memory. I remember seeing that. Unsure where that was, but I do remember seeing that somewhere. Or maybe it was a memory that was shared. But they have taken a tag team down together, the two boys.
I don't play tag team events. No one ever wants to partner up with me.
If it's a mixed game event, I'm with you.
Aussie Millions teams event this year, I spoke to 𝗬𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is, I don't know if I plan on playing it, but if I do, I'll let you know. And he
Beautiful.
didn't let me know.
Question for the chat now. That has inspired me for a question. If you had
Okay.
to play a tag team event, who would you choose to be your partner and why? It could be someone in your local game. It could be someone in the poker community that you know, or could even be a poker Hall of Famer like Ms. Rocky, who the grind's named after.
Yeah.
Who would be your tag team partner if you had to play World Series or an APT, not mixed game, tag team event? Who would your partner be and why? Put it in the
That is
chat.
a very good question, Damo. I have to get back to you for your old pick. So many good players out there.
There's a lot of good players out there around in the field. There's Gene here. There's folds him with the button. He just takes essentially jam. Makes it 500k. He's basically just in case Reno went jam and then Manning went snap, so he could fold and get the pay jump. So this is effectively an all-in, and I think Manning is just going to find a fold here, Richard.
Yeah.
And Gene's going to get this one through. Isn't our shortest stat, but does recognise that this is a spot that's too good to pass up.
You know what, Damo? I've just made a decision on the fly here.
Yep.
And not going to run it past management, just going to do it.
Yep.
Best answer that we'll pick one comment randomly, or one comment that we like as a tag team partner. You're going to win an APT hat. There you go. So get your comments in the chat. Who is your ideal tag team partner in a poker event and why? We will pick one of you to win an APT hat.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, man.
Damien Mills in the chat saying Damiano would be his team's partner.
Very nicely done, Mr. Mills. Thank you for checking out the stream here tonight. And he's still down here as well. He might be in the room actually watching while I was playing. Knowing Damien Mills, he might be in one of the fields.
I don't know if I could have you as a teammate, Damiano.
Don't know. I'd rather be battling you, to be fair.
The reason for me, though, is like I would lose all the chips, right?
Yep.
Guaranteed. Actually, you know what? Maybe I do want you as a partner. Because then I can see you rage about me losing the chips and you losing the chips.
Look, it would make for good content as Ross has got UTG here with 2s. I think if Ross was shorter, this would just be an instant up. But knowing the table dynamic and Ross being Ross, just applying that pressure is opening. Would be interesting, I think.
I do like your idea of a mixed game tag team event.
Oh,
that would be elite.
Yeah, I don't know who we need to speak to organise this.
I think we need to get a hold of Shannon Vandenberg there.
Look, Fred's found Jax. It'd be interesting to see how Fred navigates Jax compared to what Richard did maybe an orbit ago. Richard just open jamming, which again against a UTG Open leaves him at the risk of running into the bigger pair.
Yeah,
I think Fred's just going to find either a flat or a free bet.
I don't like this open though from Ross. I think 2s is just way too wide here under the gun. Just let it go.
I would say naturally, yeah, but Ross is definitely someone that's more in the lag style and just recognises that people are just going to be over-folding here, considering the next page jump and Parabu is quite short. So I think Ross is just recognising a spot. I'm going to widen up here and off we go. And I think that's what's gone on. It looks like Fred's just recognising this and is going to choose to free bet instead of just flatting Jax, which is a perfectly fine option. Again, do not like jam for the obvious reason that if you just run into it a bit too often versus the UTG range. But yeah, Reno now.
Yeah, the ace-10 off on the button, facing a 3-bet.
Look,
we'll probably just bin it, I would think.
I'm going to say yes. If it was different positions, if this was like cut-off versus hijack, and then you're on the button here with ace-10, maybe you could make a case, especially knowing that Ross is probably opening slightly wider. Good fold here, especially when UTG is in the hand. Their range is just so tight here. In theory, so yeah. I think Rankin's going to get out the way here as well. Ross will probably just fold the pocket deuces, and we are going to see Fred take down a sizable one pre-flop.
Dean Parker in the chat here as well says, high key, because he has no fear.
That's a great partner to have, someone that's got no fear and ready to get in the mix and win a lot of chips.
Yeah. All right, we have something here with us. The winner will be taking home this trophy, the Mid-Stakes Champs Adelaide 2026. I'll get a little bit closer to the camera so you can have a good look at that. Have a look at this, baby.
They're beautiful trophies. They're very heavy as well, which is quite nice.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice trophies here at APT.
Definitely wouldn't want to drop that one. That would hurt on your big toe.
Hopefully an Adelaide local wins it.
Would be nice.
That way there's no extra fees in your luggage.
I was thinking about this. I actually had a dream about this the other night. that I was flying with Qantas, and I couldn't remember the series, but it was about the trophies being heavy, and I had to pay for baggaging because they wouldn't let me on my flight because the trophies weigh too much.
It is a good problem to have, though. Like, if you're winning trophies, you're not caring about the extra fees for the carry-on or the check bags here.
Parabu finding pocket sixes here, UTG. This is a jam here, obviously, with his chip stack. He's less than 10 bigs, so good luck here to Parabu. At the moment, looking like getting it through. It's going to be up to Rankin or Ross the boss here. And it looks like Rankin snap folding, so Ross gets 6-2-0 and... looks like that he's just going to fold this one.
Now you can't even say, oh.
All right. 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 in the chat on Facebook has given us a few partners.
Yep.
He has Millsy, Kieran, Damiano for locals, Damian Mills for the fact we both play similar aggressive styles, Kieran Barrett for balance, and finally yourself for playing solid, holding the chips, and myself for the wider range, hopefully collecting chips. P.S. Only accept the cap if it has Adelaide on it. Unfortunately, I don't think he does have Adelaide. It just says the Australian Poker Tour.
Yep.
All right, Skin Cosmetic Clinic. I would like 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as my partner, as he can read plays so well.
I like that comment. That's underrated. I think 𝗬𝗏, obviously, fantastic player, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that in the Australian poker community. But yeah, the way he's able to accumulate information at the table is almost second to none.
Yeah.
He's one of those that just knows what's going inside your head before you actually know what's going inside your head. He's already there.
Yeah.
So yeah, great shout out, that one.
𝗬𝗏 tells a very funny story, actually. After he won the Aussie Millions for $1.6 million.
After satelliting in, it has to be said.
Satelliting, $110 satellite or something?
Yep.
Which he only played because his car broke down. He was meant to be driving to Sydney that weekend. car broke down, jumped in the satellite and won it, and won the main event. He took 5,000 that night in cash, then took 1.595 million as a check.
Yep.
Went down to his local bank, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to deposit a check." They're like, "Oh, use the ATM outside. We're closed." So he went over to the ATM and comes back and holds the check up and goes, "There's not enough zeros on the ATM." They've looked at the check like, "Come on in, sir," and
Yeah.
yeah.
As you would imagine they would after seeing that many zeros on the check as well.
Yeah.
Not every day that you're probably a bank till you see a check there for over $1 million. So
7 figures, yep.
correct. Shipping the Aussie Millions main. And a worthy champion too. Made a very sick Euro call against Heath. A heads up to win it.
Fives? Was it fives?
Yeah, on the with 4th pair, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can write a check for 7 figures. I won't clear, but I can write one. But definitely bounce.
True.
Gene here with 9-4s is going to let this go under the gun.
Same with the 7-3 here from Reno.
Here's what we're going to do. 9 o'clock will be the cutoff for this giveaway.
Yep.
So we've got 8 minutes, local time. Who would you want your partner to be in a tag team event? On YouTube and on Facebook, taking comments on both. We will pick one winner to give out an APT hat to. So you've got 8 more minutes to get your answers in.
Haven't given my answer. I'm still thinking about it because there's so many good players. Like I'm leading Igor because obviously fantastic Reg or like Joe Sandev or Chris Edgar. They're all the locals that obviously crush the games really, really well. Just trying to think like there's definitely some other players out there that we haven't thought about. Like obviously, imagine winning some sort of free roll and getting like to tag team a partner with like _𝗏𝗏 or something would be sick as well. I think if I had to pick a local, it's probably Igor that I would go with. I think you just have a lot of fun too, right? Not afraid to mix it up, etc. If I had to pick someone that's maybe a bit more well known, I think you would have a lot of fun playing with the grinder.
Yep.
Because I think that's just going to be a fun night.
Might be a few drinks drank.
Yeah.
A couple of glasses of wine, or a couple of bottles.
Well, I reckon, and this is a very weird call, but I just got a feeling Chris Brewer would be good fun to be around deep in a tournament.
Yep.
If we're looking like World Series, because I know that's coming up next week. But yeah, locally would probably take Igor. Might even take Ross the Boss. Just everything he touches turns the goal too.
What about mixed games? Let's go mixed games for a moment. Who would your mixed games tag team partner be? Anyone in the world?
James Obst, straight off the bat. Straight off the rip.
Yeah, nice. Australian, South Australian.
Yep, definitely would. I just think he's absolutely like that level above. I will say there's a lot of good mixed game players in Australia. I think if you're looking for mixed game worldwide outside of Obst, it's tough.
I'm probably going Benny Glazer
I was going to say.
as my mixed tag team partner.
Yeah, and knows how to win.
Yes.
Lots of scoop titles under his name, recruit titles, mixed game. Nice guy too. I think that would be good fun for looking mixed game as well. Anyhow, we got the 7s here opening up. And I think Fred's thinking about it here with the ace-3.
He does let it fold, though. He does let it go.
Ultimate dream tag team partner would be 𝗏𝗏 and myself for his table talk and sick poker reads. Yeah, I like a D-Money. I think 𝗏𝗏 winning a free roll during like the World Series to play the tag team would be sick.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So Gene does move all in here for 965,000, and Ross does call.
With the 7s, here we go. We're going to be off to the races here. Ace or a queen for Ross, 7s for Gene. I think it's ace-queen.
It is ace-queen versus 7s on 5, 8, 6. Oh, queen on the turn.
What? No.
And jack on the river.
And there we go.
Gene does add 1,000,000 chips to his stack.
Ross the Boss losing a sizable one there.
Down to 6 big blinds now, Ross.
Unfortunate. Big flip. Open-ended on the flop as well on an 8-5-6. Again, very speedy for Reniello. Gotta love to see it.
Kieran Barrett, the question is, who is your ultimate tag team partner if you were to play a poker event? Who do you want as your partner? Could be anybody in the world. We're choosing one answer from the comments for an APT hat.
I got a new nickname, Mother. Spin King. What? Spin King. Spin King. I've gone like this.
You get him in. He's still got 4 minutes before the giveaway ends. Best answer winning a
An APT hat.
perfect.
Yeah, having a good think about it, I think Michael Mizrachi will probably be one of the best answers here, purely because mixed games or no limit hold'em,
Yep.
is you can mix it with both, which showed last year with the PPC and the
Main event win.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't matter the player type, he will adjust.
Yeah.
Just exploitatively, he will just adjust depending on the player type. So
We've got Queens here for Fred with 1.8 million on the button.
interesting dynamic now
23 big blinds.
with Ross and Parabu now being quite short. Interesting to see what Fred decides to do here. We'll just open, I would imagine.
He's got 25 bigs and 17 bigs behind him.
Interesting. If I know Gene, he will know that this is probably a free bet bluff. And I would imagine we're going to see a free bet and then an interesting decision to see what Fred wants to do, if he wants to just 4-bet rip or call. I wonder if Fred decides on it or not. If Gene decides on it or not, apologies. Would like to see 7 bigs. I think we do see a raise.
It does look like that, yes. He has raised.
Maybe he doesn't need to go 7, like 6.
He's 3-bet to 240,000 here.
Yep. Bit small, actually. It's actually just a min, which, look, that's perfectly reasonable too if you want to just every one of your free bets is to a smaller size as well. I think out of position would have sized up slightly a touch more. But I think this is still fine. Good find here from Gene, and now it's interesting to see what Fred wants to do. All options available in terms of calling. Clicking it back because Gene's gone small allows him to click it back.
Yep.
Or just applying max pressure and just jamming. Obviously, Gene's going to have buffs, I would imagine, and because of these bluffs, you could just target it and just rip. So then we do get the click back, the good old 4-bet click back. Oh, we're in the streets, boys. It's good.
We might see a Troy McLean here. We might see a 5-bet bluff from Gene.
Oh, it would be nice. I think Gene probably just leans fold, but if there's a bluff candidate to 5-bet jam, it's ace-3 suited.
Yeah, not often are you deep enough to put the 5 bets in pre.
But we have one now.
Looks like he's checking his cards and letting it go.
Yeah, unfortunate. Didn't find it. It's perfectly fine. I don't mind the small size of the free bet.
Sorry, call Ben. 49.
Ross the boss now, our short stack. Parabu just ahead of him.
4-bet.
Less than a big blind between them. Then Rankin at 15. I think we're approaching a break, though, shortly.
1200.
You went from 160 to 240.
All right, inside the final minute, get your answers in quickly for this giveaway. If you're not in Adelaide, we will send it out to you. If you are here at APT, we'll give it to you in person, and Damo might even sign it for you. King 10 here for Ross of just 6 big blinds. We'll probably be putting this in.
I was going to say, I think Ross is just going to rip this one in, knowing that he's probably not going to find a better hand over the next 2 spots before he's in the big blind. And there he goes.
Yeah.
Parabu immediately rakes up next spot over. Unfortunately for him, it's so early position. It'll be interesting to see if he takes it or not.
Yeah, he's got 7 big blinds himself, but it's easier to put your 7 big blinds in first rather than calling off your 7 bigs.
Correct. Essentially, if he calls off here, he's wrong.
He's out of the tournament.
He's out of the tournament, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see a fold here. I do like a fold here. Even though he's in front and does have Ross crushed, I do like to see the fold.
Correct. I think this is probably the fair play. Fred.
Now, this is different. He's got the chips. He's got 27 bigs, facing a shove here by Ross for 6. I think he can call. He does not, though. He does let it go.
I think it's because there's still some people behind him. There's probably too many positions. Set up a hands here, by the way. King 10, then Ace 10, then pocket 9s.
Which is actually not good for Ross. A lot of his outs being eliminated here, being folded by other players.
Yeah, straight outs are gone. 9s are here. Kill some straight outs. There was a King that's already been marked now as well, obviously.
Yeah.
The 10's been marked. I would imagine Jane's just going to ISO, and he does. Reno now getting Jack 9 suited. He will look to the heavens to hopefully secure a good hand, but he knows that this is going to be an insta-mark. And unless Richard Manning ranks up with something disgusting here, we are going to go to a race. Another Jack being also marked too, so a lot of Ross's outs in terms of making straights have been folded. A King's been folded, so he's probably going to need a queen here.
Going to a flop.
And the flop is King 6 Ace. And Ross does hold. He actually makes the straight.
Yep.
A lot of those cards were out, were folded, but Ross does find the full double up.
All right, and with this giveaway, we're going to close it off right now. And there is an answer I like here. It is Daniel's answer. It's made it in the tick of time, actually. Just got in there. 𝗨𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗍 the GOAT. That is not a name that I had in mind, but...
yeah, I think playing with Phil would be interesting.
It would be amazing.
I wonder if Phil would talk strategy to you. Like, or would he not care and just be the coolest dude ever and just be like, yeah. And then just walk in and just crush the tournament and then walk out and be like, your turn.
Yeah, Jerome, eh?
Yeah.
Jerome.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I reckon that's where my vote's going. Where's your vote going, Damo?
The only reason I jammed is just probably sitting next to me.
It's a good question. I think Millsy's second comment was a lot better than his first. Not because I was in that comment either. I just think I like that he's given a breakdown of the players and he's chosen Kieran for obvious reasons. And I like that he's given us a breakdown, a full breakdown. Was it D-Money maybe that maybe made that one as well? Yeah, this is D-Money, so my vote would go D-Money.
All right. I've made another executive decision here, and if Mr. Hasham's not happy, I apologise, Tony. D-Money and Daniel, come and see us if you're here at APT. You're both going to get a hat. Well done. If you're not here, send us a message, and we'll get one shipped out to you. But yeah, if you're in Adelaide or Mawson Lakes, come and see us, and we'll give you an Australian Poker Tour hat. Well done.
Perfect.
Get that chat. Parabu picking on me.
Interesting to see what's going on here. Reno's folded, Manning has opened, and I think Rankin's put in the big free bet here out of the big blind. Blind versus blind action. We do get a free folded, and I think Rankin at least showed one ace there, just from the flash of the cards. Unsure. We have now got Pedro, though, in the dealer's seat.
Yep.
Nello with a great stint on the final table. And now got Pedro, one of our premium dealers around as well. Was the 5-3 suited from Richard, which perfectly fine to probably have played limp. Rankin, it wasn't an ace, it was just 2 kings. Last time it was 2 aces, this time it's 2 kings for Rankin in the blinds.
There you go. Must be nice.
Parabu still our shortest stack. Ross the boss obviously doubling now, giving us one clear short stack and then a few middling stacks. Reno's done well to hang around and has put himself back around that 10 big blind mark as well. So still a lot of play left on this final table.
Yeah, this is going to go late into the night. It's 9 o'clock local time. They are 30-minute blinds, I believe.
How many hands do you reckon it would take for us to find a winner tonight?
Oh. I'll set the line at 200. We're 50 through now.
Ooh. I'm going to go... How many people left? 7? I think I'm going to go over just. I think that's a really good line, though. We're going to be in and around the 200, I do believe. Reno has decided to open here with the ace-king-o. And Richard Manning, for the 3rd time tonight, has found jacks. And this one's going to go all in pre.
Do you ever see a smaller sizing here rather than just rip or?
From what we've seen from Richard, no.
The blinds have gone up now as well. They are 5,100.
Yeah, so it makes everyone a little bit more shallow up. Probably would just take Jam myself. Rankin and Richard are very similar in chips, and he does cover Ross, so in that dynamic, yeah.
He has moved all in here.
An ace folded as well from Ross the Boss, so Reno's going to have less outs.
He has put it in.
And we got Jax versus the ace king, and Reno is at risk here.
You're going to see the bad news here, Reno. He's looking for 2 titles this week.
I'm going to be off to the races. The winner of this hand is going to be our chip leader, I think. So far, it's Richard. Still Richard. And Richard Manning has knocked out Reno in 7th place, collecting 2,600, I think, off the top of my head, or 2,700. And Reno is going to be eliminated in 6th place. Great spin from Reno today. And has done well to get to this position. Richard Manning now definitely going to be our chip leader. And very well done. As we see, the room is filling. The back left corner is the 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗲𝗀 which I'm definitely got a timer set for. There's also a Matchroom tournament as well, 350 Matchroom 33 tournament, which I'm actually about to jump into myself right now, as I am chasing player of the series points. I'm going to go match flat retro. But if it does go poorly, I'll be right back in the booth with you, Graham.
No worries, mate.
And I'll see you in a second.
Down, but also hope you're sitting here next to me.
Oh, look, I really enjoy being in the booth, so worst comes to worst, I'll be right back.
Thanks, Damo.
Did you mess up Pedro's hair? Thank you.
All right, Damo has stepped out of the booth for a little bit to go jump into that 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗲𝗀 tournament. If you are in the building and want to jump on the mics with me, come on down, come say hi, and we'll get you in. As Rankin here has King Jack on the button, 1.3 million chips. Looks like he has raised here, and our graphics are just trying to catch up real quickly. He has raised to 200,000. Ross has moved all in, and all in as well from Parabu. It is going to be a flip of Parabu at risk here, with ace 10 off against Ross the Boss's 7s. The flop of Queen 10, 8, 7s do fall behind there. And the ace 10 will win this hand, as Parabu will double up through Ross.
Can't find it twice. I'm convinced 7s is the worst hand in the universe. I just keep getting pocket 7s, but I'm like, all right, well, whatever. What do you want me to do? Even when I flop 5, 6, 8, I still lose.
Looks like we are down to 5 here. No, still 6. I had Richard out in 6, but he isn't. He is still in. He's got 6 big blinds. A little error there on our end. We apologise. There we go. Richard's just come back up and into the chip counts. Ross does shove here for 5 big blinds with 9-10 suited and is going to take it down. Ross, our short stack, with 6.6. Richard with 6.5. Rankin with 12. Jean with 13. Parabu with 13. And Fred with 20 is our chip leader. Getting very shallow now here. With 6 left in our mid-stakes championship. Fat Panda in the YouTube chat says, go Fred, Richard and Ross. Top 3, let's go.
I want ace king versus queens and king. let's do it properly. Right, I'll lay it down if that's going to happen.
All right, sorry,
7 behind. 6 or 7.
Folds around to Fred in the small blind, who has 8-9 off and 2 million chips.
If I did it, he stacks you, yeah.
Yeah, of course. When I raise pre-flop, we jump step call. I just think about it.
I mean, I have that hand. Can't really be bluffing there.
If you jam, he didn't call me after call. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, good jam. Good jam.
I came last.
If you jam, no way.
I came last.
Jets 3721 on YouTube says, go Jean. Jean does have a supporter out there in Jets 3721. Jean did come second yesterday in the flipper event, which Damiano came third. He was sitting next to me just now. Jean picks up the King Queen suited in the small blind. Does have Richard Manning in the big blind with 2.6 million. 26 big blinds. Looks like he does open jam for 14 bigs and gets the fold. All right, still 6 remaining here. Ace Queen here for Fred off 19 bigs on the cutoff. We'll see an open here. I'd like to see 2, 2.5.
Players in the matchroom 𝗦𝗂𝗍𝗂𝗍 now on a break. Dealing please finish cut and drawn. Got a 20-minute
Does go to
break.
200,000 here with Ace Queen suited.
Once you have completed your hand, please leave the poker tournament area.
Jean letting this one go. And Richard in the small blind of Jack 10-0. Decides to fold as well. Rankin in the big blind, 11 bigs, King 4 suited. Just cutting down his stack, seeing where he is. And doesn't let this one go. All right, I'm joined here in the booth with Van Marcus. Welcome, Van.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I just think a call.
What a fantastic tournament.
Yes, $300 buy-in, $75,000 guaranteed. We blew past that. Absolutely amazing turnout here in Adelaide.
316 runners for Adelaide. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, very, very nice turnout. How's your week been here in Adelaide?
I've had an amazing time, and the tournaments have had 2 deep runs, 2 final tables, so it's been really good.
I'd love to hear some of your insight here as we play this final table down to a winner tonight.
Yeah.
And we've got Mr. Fighter13 in the YouTube chat saying Gene is one of the nicest people alive. Let's go, buddy. A lot of support for Gene in the chat.
Folded to the cutoff. King 5.
15 bigs here. What sort of range are you looking at here, Van, with 15 bigs in the cutoff?
I don't think you can open here with King 5. That would be really loose.
He doesn't like to fold it. And
Small blind folding King 6.
yeah.
I think that's a little on the tighter side. You could complete there, even come in for a raise if you wanted. But it turned out that it wouldn't have worked because Rosario had the A6 clubs.
You're getting cold.
Yeah, very shallow. Only 10 big blinds there for Rankin and but 8 effective of Ross's stack there. Ross does move up now to 805,000. Sorry, yeah, 805,000 for Ross.
I think even with a King 6, even with 10 big blinds, you could find the shove there.
Yep.
Hey, you just asked him, you called him a shove. How you been, man? How's your week?
My week's been good. It's been full on. Been out here helping Kathy and Craig and everyone in the media team, which has been a good experience. So yeah, been enjoying it, and now jumping in here and getting some commentary. I wouldn't say expert commentary, as I'm not really a Holden player, but giving insight where I can. So it's been good.
I've been watching some of your streams, so I think you are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, it's been good to have Damiano in here a little bit and being able to bounce off him, and he's a really studied local player, and that's been good. As we do see a raise here from Fred to 200,000 off his 20 big blinds. We do have Ross in the big blind with 8 bigs. What sort of range would you expect him to flat, and what range would they put the 8 big blinds in pre, as he does?
I mean, a
fold?
hand, yeah.
Sorry, small blind.
yeah.
Sorry, he was.
So this hand is a defend even with 12 big blinds. Is he in the small blind? No, he's in the big blind.
Parabu's big blind. Sorry, Ross was small blind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just complete. Take a look at the flop.
There's an ace-queen 4 flop here, which completely misses Parabu in the big blind, and you think this is going to go check, bet, fold a lot of the time.
Exactly. Heavily towards the under the gun range, so he's going to have a stab at it and take it down.
Do you think there's a little wide here from Fred under the gun with ace-9?
I think he's just putting a lot of pressure on the player's ICM pressure with his chip stack and his lead, and six-handed, and ace is still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Under the gun is the new button for bluffing.
I like it. We do see a biddy of 150 by the looks of it, and a quick fold. 175 was the bet from Fred. We have a quick look in our room here. We've got a few tables going. We do have that PLO5 bomb pot out there. We've got a main event flight as well, so come on down, jump in the main event. We have smashed that guarantee before today even started. There's going to be a massive prize pool in the main event, the Adelaide Champs, here at the Australian Poker Tour in Mawson Lakes.
This is my first APT.
Oh, well,
believe it
welcome.
or not. Thank you. And quite pleasantly surprised of all the staff, all the TD, the hard work. The players, it feels like on a large scale home game, really.
Yeah.
And I'm loving every minute of it. I was supposed to be here only for the first 3 days, but we've extended it for the entire series.
No, that's good. Good to hear. Positive feedback.
For sure, yeah. I'll definitely be visiting more of them in the future.
Melbourne is next in September at the Crowne Plaza in Carlton. And then we head to Sydney at the Brighton in Sydney. And then we're back to the Crowne Plaza, but this time on the Gold Coast to round off the year. So 3 more stops this year. Plenty of time to come down and play in an APT event and win one of our amazing trophies, which look spectacular. As we see a raise here from the hijack with Richard to 250,000 with ace-7 suited. Rankin thinking about the 6-9, thinking about getting out of line.
It's tough to really do anything here about fold. Oh, and Rosario even makes a tight fold with the King-Jack spades, which turned out to be a great fold.
Yeah, Fred in the big line of queens. Big stack versus big stack here. 25 and 23, respectively. What sort of sizing do you like here from Fred?
I like around the 650, 700k sizing, which you should use sometimes with bluffs, but I wouldn't blame him if he just ripped it all in here for 24 big blinds.
He does use a time bank chip, as we see that timer hit 0. I do have 30 seconds per decision, with each time bank worth 30 seconds of additional time.
When the two big stacks collide, it gets a little difficult to maneuver these spots.
There's been a few of these spots already on this table. It does look like he elects to flat.
Yeah, he's just taking the safe route, thinking about the ICM, thinking about the pay ladder and the pay jumps.
It is a good flop here for queens. Richard does have the backdoor flush draw and the ace. That's working for him.
Standard line here would just to be c-betting 1/3 pot.
Which he does. 200 into 650. Fred just flatting again and picking up the flush draw. He's Richard on the turn. Does pick up the diamonds. He's gone from 2 outs to 9 now. Sorry, 3 outs to 9. Does decide to check this one back now, giving himself a free river card, which that bet on the flop does accomplish, being in position. And does hit the flush on the river. That is a bad river card here for Fred. The flush is disguised. Would expect Fred to go for a little bit of value here with his queens. He's not going to like the result though. 400,000 by the looks of it. I think was announced.
Yeah.
It is 400.
Which is just double checking that he's got the nut flush here.
Never really worried about 10s or 9s here for the full house.
I mean, there's some worry, of course, that your opponent can have those hands, but I think you're too strong up in your range not to get some value out of this. Maybe not an all-in play, but you could go for something smaller.
Do you just click it to 800 and try and get that real thin value from the queens, or?
That's right, you could do something like that. I mean, it's very unlikely that your opponent also has a backdoor flush with the way the hand is played out. And you're just targeting really a 10, possibly a 3. You certainly wouldn't expect him to have queens here.
It was 2.5x pre, so not a lot of 3s here that Fred could have. Maybe an ace-3 suited, but you do. There's only one combination of that because you do have the ace of diamonds blocking the ace-3 of diamonds, so it's only the ace-3 of clubs that he could have for a 3.
And he goes for the shove for value.
Now this is a tough spot for Fred.
Having the queen of hearts and the queen of clubs, I think it makes it even easier to fold because it allows your opponent to have the queen of diamonds in their hand. And I just don't think Richard's going to find a bluff in the spot with the stack sizes and with the shorts in there.
Does flick on a time bank.
Even if Fred folds here, he still has 1.7 million, which is still second in chips.
Fred is so high up in his range as well, though, of queens here. Very disguised by just flat and pre.
I came here for a short period, but I have to leave you soon because I'm still in the Adelaide Champs main event.
Nice. How are we going in that?
we're short stacked, but we're battling.
Chip in a chair, as they say in poker.
Yes, exactly.
That's all you need.
Thanks for having me, and I'll be back with you soon.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully not too soon. Make sure you get a bag and then you come back.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, man.
See you.
We'll try and listen to a bit of the table here and just see if there's any talk.
Do we get to see now or you have to make us wait for
Looks like Fred might be out of time banks here, and that's his hand has been killed because the timer has hit 0. And Richard will add 1,000,000 chips to his stack.
Pretty. Yeah.
Up to 3.4 million now, and is a massive chip leader, as you can see there. He's got twice what Fred has now.
Give it a rest.
Ross is still our short stack with 6.5 big blinds. 7% of the chips in play there for Ross. Richard does have 37% of the chips in play, 6-handed.
I'll tell you at the break. I don't want everyone.
We're all gonna know.
I'm in here by myself now, so you are in the Adelaide area or at Mawson Lakes here at the Australian Poker Tour. Come and say hi. Come jump in the booth with me. I have an empty seat ready to go for you. Be good to get people in and having a chat. Let's talk poker. Let's talk anything you want to talk about. As Rankin does choose here to open effectively all in, 700 of his 900 into the middle, leaving just 2 blinds behind. Parabu folds the ace-6 on the button. Fred in the small blind folds the jack-5 suited. Gene in the big blind with a decision now for effectively 9 big blinds. Does put in the rest, and Rankin quickly calling with the ace-10. We are off to a flop. We're going to see 5 cards here. The king-queen versus the ace-10. Rankin at risk with the ace-10. 6-9-6 doesn't help. Oh, there's the king on the turn. We're going to lose. We're going to lose Rankin here, as Gene will eliminate him. Very unfortunate with the king on the turn. But with that elimination, we are down to 5 players remaining. Rankin out in 6 for 3,500. Gene moving up to second now with 2.5 million chips.
I made it really.
Yeah, I hit the flush on the river, I think.
I missed.
50.
Getting his next hand on the way. Ross under the gun with 9s and 6.5 bigs. He'll be putting this in, no doubt at all, you would think.
1-1.
Yeah, I was hoping you.
Our stacks might be wrong here because it's saying Ross only has 600,000, but he looked like he had a lot more than that. We will get that double checked for you. But it looks like he's got a lot more than 600,000. Looks like he had about the 1.4, 1.5 million chips, to be honest. The timer hits 0 here, and probably will be folding 10-6.
You got 8 bigs. What do you get? We all want to break it.
Mr. Fighter in the YouTube saying, yes, Gene, Jets with the biceps out there.
Oh, were you about to open? Hey, go, it's your turn.
200.
Gene here with the Queen 8 in the small blind.
You let me have it. I'm very, very appreciative.
Lets it go. Richard Manning in the big as 8-6. He'll let this go, and Ross will pick up some additional chips there.
6-8.
Let's have a look out in the room and see what's going on out here. Looks like there's a few tournaments on break as we speak. 𝗨𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is happening as well as the Matchroom event is on. The Adelaide Champs is on a break, as you can see.
Nothing great.
We head back to the table. Parabu under the gun with 9.3 bigs.
Nothing great.
He's sick of it. Probably done with it, mate.
Rosario is up to 930,000, which I don't think is right either, unfortunately. As the camera gets on him, we will have a look at his stack. He is in the big blind, so we will see. But Gene here opening with ace-6 on the button.
One raises two. Can you play that flat for me? Hey, he raised.
He has raised
Records.
the 225,000. Richard's going to fold here on the small blind, and Ross in the big blind of 7-8. Yeah, you can see he's got about 1.4, between 1.4 and 1.5 million there. The blue chips being worth 25,000, so stacks at 500,000. So there's $1 million in blue, plus 470,000 or so, 460,000 in 5K chips. So we'll try and get that updated for you, hopefully. And it looks like we may be going to a break as the players get up from the table, and the dealer Pedro has taken his headset off. So we will be back very soon here at APT in Mawson Lakes. All right, we are back here at the APT Adelaide Champs. This is the mid-stakes championship here. There are 5 players left. Richard Manning with 3.3 million chips here in first place. Ross not even at the table. Who is the small blind? Richard's going to pick this one up with Queen 7 on the button. As you can see there, Richard with 30 bigs. Our chip leader and Parabu, our short stack with 6.6. Everyone else in between the two of them. This is hand number 64 of our final table. As Gene has 10-4 under the gun, he's going to let this one go. Ross is back at the table now. He might have missed that hand. And there's going to be a walk for Fred in the big line. He picks up 180,000 chips here. We are seeing this through to the end as well. We are playing down to a winner in this tonight, as our main event will be on tomorrow. $600 Adelaide Champs main event here at the Australian Poker Tour. Who's going to be taking that one down? Who does everyone think? Who's everyone's picks in the chat? Who's going to win the main event, which is day 2 tomorrow? As Richard Manning opens up to 250,000 under the gun with 9s, and Parabu does put it in with ace-9 here. Ace-9 for 6 big blinds on the button. Fred will fold the Queen 10, and Gene will fold the Queen Jack. And you would assume Richard is putting the chips in for not a lot more. He does make the call, and we are off. 7-3 favourite here is Richard in this hand. Flop of 10, 6, 2 does not help. Neither does the king. Parabu will need an ace and only an ace, and does not hit it, and we will lose Parabu in 5th place. GG. With that elimination, there is a pay jump now. As you can see, 5th place for Parabu, 4,500. Everyone has guaranteed $5,900. Not bad for a $300 entry fee. As we are down to 4.
So even if I blind out, it's whatever, until this is over.
Those pink chips are worth 100,000 chips apiece. The blue is 25,000. The orange worth 5,000. Who does everyone think wins from here? I'm still going with Ross. Ross the boss. All right, we've got Gene here opening to 300,000 with the ace-8 from the small blind into Richard's big blind, who does have all the chips at the moment. Richard sitting with 50% of the chips in play. Does elect to fold it. And Gene will take this one down.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah. I would have gone all in though, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you would have snapped, yeah. To see you've been doing it all night, not once you let me go, so I was like, oh, this king could do it.
Fred undergun with the 2-3, letting it go. Gene with the 8-5. This will also be a fold from the button. No need to get out of the line here. Does let this one go. Richard in the small blind. Can put a lot of pressure on Ross here. However, Ross is our shorter stack, so no ICM implications you would assume being a short stack. But Richard does wake up with aces here in the small blind. How will he play this?
You got a really strong hand. That was some good acting. I think even if I picked up pocket nines here, I would probably.
Just open shoves by the looks of it. The all-in button has gone out. The all-in triangle has gone out.
No hand I'm picking up that I'm calling you with there.
And Ross will let this go in the big blind, having a laugh.
You trapped me.
Oh, I was going to show you.
You trapped me, you trapped me.
Ross with the "you trap me" comments on the table.
You were so upset about that.
That was bad acting, it really
That was horrible
That was the worst acting
I
I've
can't
done
wait till
all
we
day.
see on the stream. It's going to be like ace queen suited or something.
It was aces.
Oh, really?
Just finding out he actually had the aces. There you go.
See, I was trying to give you ace queen at least. If I picked up mine, I probably would have folded.
Yeah, it would have been smart.
You guys share the chips a little bit.
$30,000 starting stack.
Yeah, it is.
I did today.
Oh, that's right, you did too.
Yeah.
You said that.
The lowest chip count.
That's what it takes to win a tournament.
Yeah, I started with those two chips. That's all I had in my bag, 2 chips.
Plenty, mate. That's all you need.
This is hand 69 of our final table. Richard here with ace queen under the gun. Does elect to open and looks like 275. It is 275 here from Richard. Ross with the fold. Fred in the small blind now with king queen. Off 11 big blinds. 12 big blinds. He does have chips in there for the middle. Oh, he does shove all in. 1.48 million. And I'm assuming Richard is going to call this off here. Four-handed ace queen, just too good to fold here for 12 big blinds. He does make the call, and we are off to 5 cards here. If ace queen holds against the king queen, we'll be down to 3. Ace jack jack on the flop, needing a 10 now for a straight, and only a 10. It is not, and we will be losing Fred in 4th position. GG's Fred. We are down to 3 left with Ross, our short stack with 8.3, Gene with 18, and Richard Manning, our overwhelming chip leader here with 52 big blinds, 6.2 million chips, 66% of the chips in play, three-handed. And with that, they do secure a page up to 7,800 now. All three players guaranteed 7,800. I've got a feeling we're going to be under the 200 hands at the line I set before with Damiano. It has gone really quick. We have lost 2 players in very short period of time here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Ross here under the gun, holding the 8-5.
My go.
90-second warning for players in the Adelaide Champs. Take your seats, please. As you take your seats, just a quick reminder, tomorrow, 5 p.m, satellite into the big champs. 2 packages guaranteed, 450 entry. Do yourself a favour, 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Gene here just completing from the small bomb, the King 5. And Richard will be checking his option with the King 3. This will end in a chop pot majority of the time. Not this time, however, with the 5 on the flop for Gene. He does hit his kicker, which puts him in a massive advantage here. 96%. Will win this 96 times out of 100, and that is one of them with the fold there from Richard Manning. And another 120,000 chips going over to Gene, who does close that gap a little bit on Richard. Richard in the small blind and Jack 5, and all the chips will be probably putting some pressure on Ross in the big blind here. Looks like he limps us to flat though. And Ross does check his option with the Jack 3. The Queen 8-7 flop means this will end in a chop majority of the time. It will be a chop if it goes to showdown at this point in time, unless one of them can hit a 5 or a 3. Oh, and it is a 3 for Ross. He will be winning this hand now. No more money goes into the middle though, and Ross picks up 240,000 chips, putting him up over the million, up to 1.2 million here for Ross, 10 big blinds.
One for the good guys.
That's the first one that's been kicked to the river, I reckon, in a while.
That is it. Alright, come on. Let me win the big ones like that, alright? You take the small ones, I'll win the huge ones, alright?
Ross there with a line from 𝗨𝗟𝗟𝗏 where you take this one, I'll take the next, essentially. Richard here with King Jack on the button, and all the chips will be coming in with a raise, putting pressure on both these stacks, who are now getting closer as well to each other. With 18 bigs and 10 bigs effectively between the two. Jack 2 for Ross is going to go in the middle. Gene in the big blind here with Queen 4 of hearts. His hearts are dominated. Could see a defend here though. The suited Queen. He does call. Let's see the first 3 cards. 2, 3, 5 on the flop. Does give Gene the up and down straight draw here. Neither player has the flush draw. The heart's not coming through. The Queen on the turn does give Gene the lead now. with top pair and the up and down. 93% equity in his hand. Does check it over, and it is checked back. Another queen on the end, giving him the check mark. Would most likely see a bet here from Gene, trying to get some value for his 3 of a kind. He does say a bet amount here. Looks like it's 475,000 it is, and a quick fold there from Richard, and Gene will take this pot down, taking a few chips off the chip leader. Ross doesn't like to see that as Gene pulls away from him between second and third places.
Probably still find a way to lose. No, let him put it. 220 and 220, that's fine. This is how many chips he's got. He doesn't even care, dude. He's just like, it doesn't matter.
Alright, Ross on the button with 7-9 suited. Does have 9 big blinds. Lets it go. Probably looking for a spot just to put all 9 in.
Usual raise, boss? No.
Gene thinking about what to do here with the 5-2. Wouldn't be surprised if he just lets it go and just gives Richard the walk. He has raised though to 300,000. Showing the chip leader he's not scared of him. Players looking at the clock behind him. It does have the payouts, does have the blind levels, how much time they've got in his hand, how long until the blinds go up and their stacks get shorter. Richard with the king 3. Does use a time bank. Oh, that's very unfortunate there for Richard.
We've got him now.
Very unfortunate. So what's happened there is he's in the tank thinking about what to do. The timer has hit 0. He hasn't realised, hasn't released his cards in time. Then has folded about a second or 2 after the timer's hit 0 and has been forced to give up his last time bank chip. He will now have no more additional time per decision. Just the 30 seconds to act now for Richard for the remainder of this tournament. Very unlucky there. Gene will fold the queen 4. All in by Richard here. Over the Ross with 9-10. Ross the boss.
It's very pretty.
Richard leading the 9-10 suited, natural 9 go. Richard with the natural 8 will take it down. A few more chips going Richard's way. I think the table's leaning that way a little bit now, with 62% of chips. As we move on to this next hand, hand number 75. Rosario letting it go. Kings now for Gene in the small blind. He has been active in the small blind. He did raise his last small blind into Richard, which Richard did let go when the time banks ran out. Remember, every player is paying 300,000 chips per orbit. Every 3 hands is going to cost them 300,000. I don't think the graphics are right here. I don't believe Rosario has opened. We will have a look in a second when it gets back to him. I'm pretty sure he just folded the 10-4. Richard with Queen Jack now does have a decision, facing a 525,000 raise here from Gene, which we did hear over the table mic. He does let it go. Yeah, the button does move instantly, so Ross did fold. He did not raise the 250 like it says in the graphics. Do apologise. It's got Gene here on the button, but I actually think Ross is on the button here. I don't think our button has moved because Richard has just checked from the big blind. So our position is wrong here. It's going to be on Gene first. Yeah, as we are fixing these graphics up for you, I believe. Remember, there is $16,500 up top in this event. $10,720 for second, $7,800 guaranteed for the three of them now. A Jack on the turn does hit Gene here with his Jack 7. A 7-3 for Richard being the gut shot straight draw here as he does check Gene. It goes check, check. The 2 on the end does not help Richard. Gene does take that down with a pair of jacks. Closing that gap now. Ross is going to have to find a spot here. 4.7 big blinds for Rosario. Gene waking up with the jacks for Gene. On the button now, so that has caught up. He is on the button. They have fixed it. Thank you to our production team out back. He does open here to 250,000. King 8 for Richard. He's going to let it go. Rosario in the big blind. Does he find a hand to play? His chip stack is not right. Looks like he has 600, 700-ish. 750-ish, about 500 behind.
Trapping you.
An ace 9-2, 2 clubs. I don't think Ross is too concerned about the ace here with his jacks. I think Ross would probably put in most of his aces pre-flop and apply that pressure. So I think Gene can bet here quite comfortably knowing that.
Any showdown value. I'll probably call you with King High here if I had it.
Well, there you go. Saying you'd even call with King High there, but yeah, I don't think Ross has many aces there when he just calls the raise pre and doesn't put it in, and then checks it over. So yeah, very well played there by Gene. Up to 31 big blinds, closing that gap on Richard quite nicely here, leaving Ross with 2.6 bigs, which I don't believe is correct. I believe it is a little bit more, about 500,000, not 315, as it does say on our screen here.
Triples.
All right, we've got Ross all in.
What'd you pick up? Ace,
King,
no good.
queen. Gene picks up the threes and snaps him off from the big blind.
Count out. 500.
Ross saying he's due.
All right. You might as well. Just prepare it now. The flop's queen 10-7, I'm pretty sure.
Ross predicting a flop of queen 10-7.
Makes me very
You got the 7 right, but that's about it. There's the 10. No. Oh, the queen on the end is no good as Gene did flop a set. A diamond would have been a chop, but that is all, and we lose Ross in 3rd place. GG's Ross picking up 7,800. All right, we are going to have a small break here just as we get ready for heads up play. Stay tuned as we will be seeing this out to the end. Thank you. We'll be back in a moment. All right, we are back here. Heads up play is underway here in the mid-stakes champs at the Australian Poker Tour here at Mawson Lakes. Just got word of a deal has been done between these two players, between Gene and Richard. The deal is as follows. $2,000 has been taken off first place and put onto second place. So first is now $14,500, with second being $12,720. So we are playing this out tonight. There will be a winner crowned here at Crowne Plaza in Mawson Lakes at the Australian Poker Tour. All right, let's play some heads-up poker. Not a format a lot of players play these days, as you only play it when you do get heads up. All right, Richard here with the 10-8 in the big blind. Queen 9-9 flop here. 10 Jack for Gene, which is the up and down. 10-8 with a gut shot for Richard. Does go bet and call. The 10 on the turn does give both players a pair. And this will be a chop pot at showdown. With 10s and 9s with an ace kick up, both players will get their chips back out of this hand. Here's a chop. As you can see, the main event is going on here at the APT. This is the final flight of our Adelaide Champs main event. The PLO bomb pot is going on, as well as the matchroom event as well, as we head back over to our feature table, our final table of the APT mid-stakes champs. Blinds are 60,000, 120,000. Richard here, chip leading at the moment with 44 big blinds, 56% of the chips in play, 5.3 million in chips, while Gene is our short stack. However, he's not short. He has 34 big blinds himself with 44% of the chips in play, 4.2 million. Gene here picking up the sixes in the big blind. I'm not sure why it's asking him to go first here.
6. Yeah. I didn't see the other one. 6. Pocket 6. Oh, pocket 6s. Yeah.
Only level 75, 150.
Blinds are going up 75, 150, as you could hear on the table there.
Oh, the blinds are going up, haven't they? Yeah, 150. 150.
Yes, Jets 3721 in the YouTube chat. Top 2, Gene.
I'm just stealing some flying.
Gene was Damiano's pick to win this. My pick was Ross, the boss.
I started the day with 30,000.
It's awesome. Yeah. Well run, man.
Lucky.
Catch 4K at least. Yeah. Let's go.
Who was out in third place for 7,800. I'll just check the cards real quick here.
I really want
to check the cards. We will get the payouts up for you to have a look at the placings here. So Tao was out first in 9th place at 1,700. Ethan for 2,100. Richard Manning, which is not right because he is still in. So yeah, disregard those payouts there because Richard is still actually in that. Not sure why it's got him out there, but as we head back to our table, see the lovely APT trophy there on the rail now. Stunning looking trophy.
Yes, more blame first.
Exchange.
Yeah.
Small.
Sorry.
So first time.
Because, yeah, you should go first. It was a small blind there.
So you put out 300
I put out 300.
before I ate. Yeah.
I remember an out of 10 bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was an out of 10 bet earlier today. And
So
I
what
got-
we need,
and
you
put
just
it
got to
back.
put it back here, and then we're going to act, he's going to act, and then we see what happens.
So what option I had?
So obviously if the action's changed,
Thank you, I got
the
you.
bet goes
Thank
back.
you.
It depends on what he does.
Oh, okay.
So if I call, stand.
If you call the 300, it stands.
Listening to the table talk here, so it looks like Richard's actually raised out of turn by accident here. So Gene has just called the blind. Now the raise will stand, and now it's back on Gene.
So I call,
If Gene
stand,
had
and
have come in for an open there, Richard would have got all his options back, including getting the chips back from that raise that was out of turn.
Yeah, I just
So
wanted
Gene
to
by
stand.
just flatten there can actually flatten massively, have the raise stand, and then come back over the top with a 3-bet. We will see the cards in a moment. Gene does have the Queen 9 of Hearts on an Ace 2-5 flop. The 8-6 for Richard being not much either. Just the Queen high here for Gene is in the lead. 8 or a 6 only for Richard at this stage. It goes check, check. The King on the turn doesn't change anything. Gene's still out in front here with the Queen high. Will be winning this hand 86% of the time.
Hit one bet, hit 3 fold. He bet.
Goes check, bet, fold. Gene picking up another pot and closing that gap once again. Up to 4.3 million chips here. Only less than 1 million chips separating these two competitors now. As we are getting down to the pointy end, heads up play. 62 bigs in play here. 34 of them in Richard's stack, 28 of them in Gene's stack.
550. Raise. Hit 3 to raise. 550.
Gene's going to fold the Jack 2 from after a raise from Richard here.
Heads up. But it was.
Yeah, no.
Who's everyone's pick from here, Gene or Richard? Who do you have? Who's going to take it down? We're fairly even in chips now.
I think you need 150 more.
Yeah, you have big ones.
150, 150. Yep.
Sorry, please.
Gene here picking up the twos, a pair of twos. Richard with the ace queen. In the big blind. We'll see a racing from Richard pretty much all the time here. Oh, so he's open shoves for 4.8 million, and the twos are going to quickly go into the muck. And Richard pulls away again, 5.2 million to 4.1 million. As we see Kathy in the background on the Cybercast with one of her videos from this week. Don't know what they're training for. All right, Jack 8 here for Richard on the button, which is also the small blind heads up. He'll be acting first pre-flop, acting second post-flop. There's a little quirk there about heads up play. Does elect the limp here, complete. Gene now with a 7-4 in the big blind. Is he going to get out of line?
Sit one raise. 375.
375,000 here from Gene with a 7-4. Really putting the pressure on Richard. And he does make the call though. We are off to a flop and seeing 3 cards. We've got over $1 million in this pot already. Two spades on that flop. King 4, 10. So a pair of fours for Gene. However, Richard does have the flush draw. Third nut flush draw here for Gene.
190.
A very small bet here, just 20% of the pot by Gene. 190 into $1 million. Richard now picking up raising chips by the looks of it. And you would think this would get through. A semi-bluff here from Richard. Looks like it's 650,000. It is 650. And you'd assume Gene will be putting this in the bin momentarily. He does have 30 seconds per decision, as it is a shot clock for day 2. Just like most of our events are. I think all multi-day events are shot clock on day 2 now with APT. Such a good inclusion. He does let it go, and Richard extending that lead, 6 million to 3.5 million now. Almost a 2-to-1 chip lead for Richard Manning as we are in this mid-stakes championship event. Another little quirk as well, when you heads up, you deal to the big blind first instead of the small blind. So Gene limping here, the Queen 3-0, 10-8 suited for Richard. Will be checking this and going to a flop. The 2-5 Jack with 2 clubs. Both players miss this flop. Gene with 70% equity in this hand with the Queen high. Goes check from Richard. Gene now checks back as well on the button. The 7 does help Richard, giving him a gut shot to the straight. 3 clubs on board. Neither player having the flush or the flush drawn. Gene does make a call here with Queen high. An 8 on the end does give Richard a pair of 8s and a check mark now as well. I expect this to go check a little bit now that he's got a showdown value. Doesn't need to turn his hand into a bluff. It does go check. He can bluff catch here with the 8. He's betting hands like the ace 10 with a club.
One bet, 375.
It's 375. I expect Richard to make this call after checking the river. He's picking up chips. He does make the call and will be taking this down. Another 825,000 chips goes from Gene to Richard. $6.8 million to $2.7 million. That's 17 bigs to 45 bigs. And Richard just extending. Just a reminder, a deal has been done here, heads up. First place is now 14,500 and second is 12,720. So $2,000 taken from first and given to second as we play this out. Jack 10 here for Richard in the small blind on the button. Expect to see him getting a little bit more aggressive now and raising a little bit wider. This is still standard raise here on the button, heads up. He does raise. Looks like 300,000, just a min raise from Richard. Gene in the big blind. He does call here. Not quite sure what he's got. Waiting for the graphics to catch up. It is on Gene first now. So he does call the 8-3. The flop of 6-7-8 does give him a gut shot. Top pair for Richard. Gene does check it over to him. Playing in flow. Richard reaching for the pink 100,000 denomination chips. Puts out roughly 6 of them. Five of them. 500,000 going into the middle. Gut shot here for Gene. What's he going to do? He's only got 2.2 million behind. This call would be for a quarter of his remaining stack. I don't know if he calls. He does not. He does fold. I don't think call was ever an option there. Either turning his hand into a bluff with the gut shot or he is folding. Does elect to fold and keep the 2.2 million as Richard extends again. Now with a 3-1 chip lead. Richard with 7.2 million. Gene with 2.2 million. %77% of the chips in play here for Richard. $10-8 on the button here for Gene. Does have 14 big blinds. Elects to just call. 3-4 from Richard in the big blind. Can see a flop for free here. He does elect to do that with the 3-4 suited. Off to the first 3 cards, off to the flop. 2 clubs on the flop does give Richard the flush draw. The 10 for Gene does give him top pair. We could see fireworks here as Richard checks. Could be going for a check raise. A bet here from Gene. That's 175. Richard just with the call. Does have a backdoor straight draw as well. The ace on the turn does not help Richard. However, he is reaching for chips. Does lead out for 400,000. A little stop and go here from Richard with just 4 high and a flush draw. You can see there 23 seconds left to make a decision for Gene. I cannot tell if he's got time banks or not. He does have some time banks there, so he can extend that time. They are automatic. He does not need to throw it in. If he's got them behind, they will automatically be used when the clock hits 0. He does elect to call here. Off to the river. This pot is starting to get big. SPR less than 1. It is a queen on the end. Does Richard go for it here? He does not. He gives up. It's going to go check, check, and Gene's going to win a nice pot here. Back to 3.1 million chips. Richard probably thinking that Gene is not folding much there. Still does hold a 2-1 chip lead over Gene, does Richard. queen offsuit here for Richard on the button. Out of the small blind. Picking up raising chips.
Raise.
Raises to 350,000. Turn 8 off. The Gene in the big blind. 200,000 more to call.
Number 1 call.
Does elect to call. The ace 7-5 does not help Gene. The king high for Richard is still good. Can represent the ace as well, being the pre-flop aggressor.
1 check.
Gene does elect a check here, and a bet will take this down, you would think, by Richard. 500,000 into a million bets half pot. And he does fold. You can see the stacks here, 6.8 million, 46 big blinds for Richard, 2.5 million, or 17 big blinds for Gene. Right, just a reminder, we are going to be live tomorrow as well for our main event. $600 entry Adelaide Champs main event here at the Australian Poker Tour, as Gene just elects to call with the 10-4. And Richard checking his option in the big blind, the queen 2 suited. Sorry, I missed what happened then. Sorry, actually, Gene just calls and Richard raises the 400,000 here. Saw a call come up on my screen and I thought that was the Richard checking, but no, he does raise here. We do see a 3-bet here with the 10-4 from Gene. The limp 3-bet. 850,000 here from Gene. Maybe he's already just trying to set up a little bit earlier with the limping from the button. Does have the 10-4 offsuit here. Richard with the queen 2 suited. 10 seconds left to act. Does not have any time banks. And his hand will be killed when the timer hits 0. You just hear there, he does not have any more time banks. Gene does have 2. This is hand 89 of play. Things going to be well under the 200 hands that I predicted. And number 89 has Richard with the Jack 2 suited on the button. And 6.3 million chips, still holding a 2-to-1 chip advantage over Gene with 3.1 million. Gene coming into the raise here, 325,000 chips. And a quick fold here by Richard as Gene closes that gap. Again, that's 2 in a row now for Gene. There's a lot of love for Gene in the chat tonight.
Yep.
23 plays 40. Gene just calling for the button here. Richard checking. That 3-bet from the button last hand, or 2 hands ago, has allowed him to limp here and not get raised in case he's going to do it again. Does flop second pair. Richard with the 10-8, the 2 overs to Gene's pair. Does elect to check it over to him. Gene checks back this time. Bit of pot control. Richard shouldn't have too many aces by just checking the big blind. I think Gene knows that. The 6 on the turn does give him the up and down straight draw as well. However, he also gives Richard the gut shot as well. So he needs a 10, a 9 or a 5 as he's double gutted. Goes bet call. 250 from Richard, calling by Gene. After the river card. The queen on the river. Gene's 5-7 is good. Does have the check mark. Do we see a bluff here by Richard? He did shut down earlier. He does here as well. And you think Gene will... I was going to say check back, but he's grabbing betting chips. Maybe trying to turn his 7 into a bluff here. Maybe... I don't think he's going for value. I think he's turning his 7 into a bluff. He did have the best hand though, and is taking that one down. It's 3 in a row now for Gene, closing that gap. 26 plays 36 now. 4 million playing 5.5, and we are in for a long battle here. As you can see, we had 316 people put up the $300 entry fee for this event. Just 2 remain. There is just a small delay here, and we are back off and running. King 5 here for Richard on the button, which is the small blind. Raises the 300,000. Gene in the big blind, placing him in raise, does call the 7-4. Two, 4, 9, 2 clubs. Does pairs Gene's 4 here, does take a lead. 8 on the turn. Gene still out in front of the 4. 86% favourite here over Richard's King 5, who needs a king or a 5 on the river to get some chips back. It's a 6, which is no good, as Gene is going to win another pot here at Showdown. Richard does have an important card here, the 5 of clubs. He could turn into a bluff, but I think he's just going to let it go. Looking back at his cards, you can tell by his body language, he has no interest in doing anything other than folding. And that gap is closing again. Just 4 big blinds separating these two now. Multiple hands in a row here from Gene to close that gap. $4.4 playing 5. Jets in the chat on YouTube saying, let's go. Gene coming off a second place finish last night in the flipper. Trying to go one better here in the mid-stakes championship.
Number 1 race.
When the Australian Poker Tour is in town, there are multiple events to play each day. So come on down and play something. We've got the Beast tomorrow, which is always massive. We've got main event day 2 tomorrow, which has already smashed the guarantee before today's flight even began. We've got events like the 𝗨𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗀 double board bomb pot happening right now as well. And Matchroom Poker's got their event on as well. Just multiple events. Who like PLO, you like Hold'em, come on down and get in the mix. As Shannon Vandenberg would say, get in the mix. King Queen here by Richard on the button.
One call. Flop.
Looks like there was call and a check. We are off to a flop. 4-7 jack, 2 diamonds. Gut shot here for Gene, 2 overs for Richard. Goes check, check. There's a king does help Richard, where it eliminates the 5 and the 3 as outs to Gene, as he does now have top pair. Only the gut shot to the 6 will help Gene. I expect to see a bet a lot of the time here. It's 400,000 chips here from Richard, and this is going to work and get through. I don't see Gene continuing with just a naked gut shot here, unless he decides to turn his 5 high into a bluff. It would not be a good time to do it. Proves me wrong. He does elect to just call. Just 9% equity going into this river card. Does not hit it. So Richard will be taking this pot down at showdown. Does Gene try and bluff this river card? 10-8 does get there. Does elect to bet 625,000. He's going for it. I don't see how Richard folds here, though. I think Richard is making this call. He does make the call, and a big pot goes Richard's way. Back to 6.1 million now is Richard, 3.4 for Gene. Just as he was closing that gap, Richard decides to pull away a little bit. 40 plays 23 big blinds. This is a cracker.
Lines up. Lines up, guys. 100, 200.
Blinds are going up 100,000, 200,000 with a 200,000 big blind ante. Is now costing you 500,000 chips every 2 hands that you play. Every 2 hands dealt, 500,000. Someone bumps into the camera.
200 to call.
200 to call here for Gene. Already got 100 out there in the big blind. Sorry, in the small blind. Another 100 to play.
One raise.
450,000 here.
No, 450 you say. 450.
450 by Gene.
450.
Jack 8 for Richard. And see him defending here. Just over a min raise. His body language does say he's not too interested in his hand. He's not too happy about it. He's got 10 seconds to act. No time banks. And he does just let this one go, I think. Yes, he does. Gave out too much information out of his body language and couldn't really continue. Gene closes that gap a little bit more. 3.8 million playing 5.7. As we can see, the main event has bagged up out there, ready for tomorrow. Up to hand 96 now.
Call.
Just a call here from Richard from the button.
One check.
Gene pushes those two pink chips towards the dealer, indicating a check. 8-6-2 with 2 hearts. Top pair for Gene. Queen high for Richard. Only a queen would give him the lead. Does have backdoor straight draws though. Goes check, check. King on the turn goes check, check. Jack on the river now. The check mark for Gene with the 8. It's going to go check, check, and Gene's going to win another hand. Another 400,000 chips going his way. Fat Panda in the chat saying, let's go, Richard. We've got love for both these competitors in the chat. Richard Manning holding the 5.3 million chips. Gene, 4.2 million, 1 million separating them. Just 5 big lines between them. King Jack here for Gene. 450 chip raise here, 450,000 by Gene. Richard does make the call with Queen 9 offsuit. There's some very interesting flops that can happen with these two holdings. Ace 8-6. King Jack out in front. Richard going for the donk lead here. Beating into the pre-flop razor. Gene can have a lot of aces here. I don't like this bet. He's putting pressure on him though. Gene can come back over the top here, representing that ace, which would work as we would see with these exact holdings. I just don't think Richard has very many aces as played. Timer clicks 10 seconds. He does the raise to 950. I really like this raise here from Gene. He knows Richard's range is capped. Does not have very many aces here. And I don't think he's ever betting an 8 or a 6. He's be checking him low.
Really important that we know there is a satellite on tomorrow, 5 p.m.
You can see his body language again. He just gives up and puts it into the middle.
A total value of $3,500, which includes a main event ticket and 3-night accommodation in 5-star accommodation at the Crowne Resorts. So 15th to 27th.
And with that hand, Gene has taken the chip lead. 26 big blinds playing 20 big blinds. Gene does have the chip lead from Richard after that hand.
Satellite tomorrow. Satellite tomorrow, 5 p.m. 450 entry. 2 tickets guaranteed minimum. And each package worth $3,500.
Richard here on the button, putting in a big raise here. That's about 625-ish. $550 to be exact, sorry. G now with the 10 jack, can apply pressure now that he has the chip lead. Can also elect to flat this hand. He will be out of position though for the remainder of the hand. So I would like to see him 3-bet here. He does elect to just flat. Gina in the Facebook chat saying, let's go, Gene. With a king 5-2 flop. Does favour Richard's pre-flop raising range with the king being out there. Jet saying keep it going, Gene. A lot of love for Gene in the chat. Let's get some love for Richard as well. Both playing excellent poker. Richard does come out with a bet.
450.
450,000 chip bet here. And this could work. Remember, Richard was the pre-flop raiser here. Did raise with the 7-8. Can represent the king. Definitely has kings in his range here. Will Gene find a check raise? As we can see, it will work most of the time. Unless Richard decides to come back over the top. But he doesn't. He lets it go. And Richard takes this one down with 8 high. Gets some chips back and retakes the chip lead here. We are so close. 22 playing 24.
Ladies and gentlemen, players and dealers in the matchroom, Poker Classic, your lines are up 10,000, 20,000. With the 20,000 is the next hand. 10, 20, 2. Thank you.
No, this, yeah.
They're sorting out some cards here. Yep. Hands on the way.
Yeah, okay,
So
tomorrow.
very close. Both players having the chip lead at some point throughout this heads-up play. Gene just limping here from the button.
Yeah, I thought I already had them out. Didn't I have a... No, I don't know. Okay, yeah, no.
No, for sure no more because there are no. Okay, check
Not sure what's going on here.
the raise. Check. Number 2 check. Drop.
Does check here, Richard, with Queen 9. 3, 4, 8 with 2 diamonds on the flop. Does hit Gene's pair of 3s.
3 check.
Goes check. Hi, Richard. Gene putting out a bet here. There's that 200,000 chips into the middle by Gene. We've seen a few times Richard tank and then just fold, using up most of his time and then just getting rid of it. And we will have a change of dealer at the table. $4.9 million playing $4.4 million. Gene with the chip lead again.
First walk.
Gene getting a walk in the big blind. Getting a small blind out of Richard there.
You owe me one now. You owe me a walk now.
Gene with the King Jack offsuit here on the button. Has limped the button a few times. Has 3-bet from the button after limping as well. What's he going to do here? It's open, jammed, and ooh, Richard with a suited ace. Does show the ace. I think he may be getting a penalty after this hand if the hand continues. open shove for 20 big blinds effective here by Gene.
I just don't think I can.
And he lets it go. $19 bigs, plays 28 bigs now. Gene's starting to pull away a little bit. 8 big blind difference between them. 5.7 playing 3.8. Richard here coming with a raise to 500,000 from the button. We'll most likely see a defend here from Gene with a 7-8 suited. Can 3-bet it as well, but be playing out of position, so wouldn't mind it just a call. He does just flat. Two hearts on the flop does give Gene the flush draw. The 10 giving Richard second pair. Quickly goes check, check. The 2 of diamonds on the turn does not help Gene. The 10 is still in front for Richard. May see a bet here now from Gene. We do see a bet. Looks to be around the 500,000. It is 325 and a call by Richard with second pair. Gene needs to find a heart and only a heart. He will find it 20% of the time. That is not one of them. The 10 for Richard is still winning this hand at showdown. What does Gene do here now? Does he decide to turn his hand into a bluff? He does. He puts it all in. Richard with a decision. The second pair. His kicker would not be playing with the 2s and the queen on board if Gene was to have a 10 as well. He does not have any time banks either, so he's got to make a decision fairly quickly here.
Call. Call.
He makes a call, and he'll be delighted with that as he sees the 8 high by Gene, and he takes down this massive pot. A full double up here for Richard. Adding 3.8 million chips to his stack. Moving up to 7.5 million. They are just counting the chips, just to give it an exact amount.
All right. 1, 2, 2.5, 2.8, 3 million, 3 million 100, 3 million 210. 3.210. This is 2, 3, 210. 210. Yeah.
Thank you.
$7.6 million chips now for Richard. 37 big blinds playing the 9 big blinds from Gene. 1.9 million. What's the rule with showing your card last to act? Asked D-Money. If you're talking about the hand where Richard showed the ace of diamonds, that is not allowed. It is an angle. Different rules between cash games and tournaments as well around the world. In cash games, they do allow it here and there, but not in tournaments. Gene does move all in here for 1.7 million. And getting a quick fold by Richard with a 6-4. Stay strong, Gene says. Jets in the chat on YouTube. Ace-8 here for Richard. 11 big blinds effective. Assuming he's going to be max pressure on here and just put this in. He does move all in. Gene with a 10-8 and 10 bigs. 11 bigs. He is in the big blind, so he does have 2 big blinds out there. He does fold and drops to a 9 big blinds, 20% of the chips. 7.6 million for Richard, 80%, 37 big blinds. Taking out some of the 5,000 chips to make it a little bit easier to count and bet. Taking a stack of 2 stacks of the 25s as well, so there's 1.3 million in that rack. 1.5, 1.8, it's 2.3 million chips taken off him now to be coloured up. Gene does move all in here with a 9-10. Richard quickly folding. About to see a lot more pink chips in play in front of Richard as he gets coloured up here. 2.5 million in pink getting given to Richard as the colour up.
Make it a little bit easy.
The Matchroom 333 Classic is on a final table as well. Richard limping here with a 10-4. Gene checking the 10-9. I bet at 200,000. I'm not quite sure what's on this flop. It could be trouble if there's a 10 on it, as they would both have the 10 with a call. There is no 10. It is a 9-6-3-5. So top pair for Gene.
One check.
Oh, check on the turn as well by the looks of it. A bet of about 500 here from Richard. Not quite sure what the river card is. It is a queen. It was 9-6-3-5 queen.
Yep, 500. Let's go, brother.
And a pot goes to Gene there. Back to 2-1. 16 playing 31.
One is only.
All right, Gene has moved all in for 2.9 million. Richard will make this call, I would assume, for 15 bigs with a suited ace. The clock will be paused while the count is done. As soon as he's been given the amount, the clock will restart here. This does not eat into Richard's time to make a decision.
1.9.
He is entitled to a count.
2,300,000. 2,405,000. 2.45.
2.45. So our count is slightly off here on the screen. So it's less than what we thought it was to call. Makes his call a little bit easier now for Richard. I do expect him to make it. He has called. Richard is 5 cards away from being our mid-stakes champion here on the Australian Poker Tour. $10, 8, 2 does improve Gene. The 4 gives Richard the pair, and the 9 in the end does not help Gene. We have a winner. We have a champion here. Richard Manning takes down the APT Mid-Stakes Championship here at Mawson Lakes in Adelaide, South Australia. Unlucky Gene, second place for $12.7 thousand. Second place in as many days there for Gene. Unlucky. Well played, Richard. Well done. Taking down $14,500 after that deal was done. Heads up, taking $2,000 off first to give the second. Well done, Richard. Just a reminder, we have events running all day tomorrow. We've got day 2 of the APT main event. We've got the Beast running as well in the afternoon. If you're in the area, come on down here to Mawson Lakes Crowne Plaza Hotel. We will be streaming the main event as well, down to a winner. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight as we did stream our mid-stakes final table. Thank you. We'll put the payouts up on the screen now for you. Disregard the Richard Manning down the bottom. He did win this event for $14,500. Well done, everybody. All right, thank you. That is us signing off tonight. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.